Hey guys, back again, and let's take a look at where we at in this application. So we just have the components, the lazy loading. We already have the service with all the functionality implemented. We just need to start working inside the components, create them, and add the service functionality in order to fetch from MongoDB using the Node API. So I'm running the Node API. For that, you will need to go inside your folder and open a new git bash and just run npm run dev. Again, if you're following this and you don't know where we got this API, there's an MERN and Min API development course in the channel, so just check that in order to build it. So we're going to start with the main. So we will need to do a few things. Let me just set everything in my other screen. Okay, just like that. So we're going to start adding some things like the API service and the router. Now we will need to add the map operator, as I think I'm using the map. It seems we're not using delay, only the map from RxJS operators. I'm just going to copy and paste a few of these things because you should already know how to add all this. Inside the constructor, we're going to set a new instance of the API service and the router. And let's just move down there. We're going to create a few more variables, public variables. Let's add them below. The post that is going to be null by now, the total count and the current page. Okay, those two are going to be any as well. Now let's start typing the functionality. So we're going to create a new public function called get next posts. We're going to receive an event, type event, and a page, type any. Okay, this should be a string or number, whatever you want, but let's keep it simple using the any. We're going to say event that prevent default, let underscore posts to create a new variable here inside this function. It's going to be type any array, an array of anything. Again, you could use an interface and set that as an array of the model you have in the interface, but we're going to keep it simple. Although this is kind of intermediate, it's a ton of functionality, so let's keep it simple there so we can focus on the rest of the functionality. Now this posts is going to be equal to this .api service that get post. We already have that function. We're going to set the page and we're going to use the pipe operator. We're going to map the response and we're going to do something with this. So remember that we're going to receive the response inside this data object. So we're going to use that in order to run a for each. With this, we're going to receive a post. We're going to set the type of any. Again, you can use there an interface or model. Now we just push inside that underscore posts the post, each post as we go. And so this is it. I think this is the one. Just let me double check. No, should be still inside this, sorry. So we're going to set this that current page equals to page, the page that we are receiving, and local storage that set item current page equal to this that current page. Okay, so we set the current page in order to help us to keep the user inside the same page of the post that they clicked. So when they hit the back button inside the browser, they will go back to that page that is stored in the local storage. And then we return underscore posts. So we return the post we just got. Okay, so this should be there, okay. And that is the first function. We will use that in a second. We need to go to ng on init and use again a new let posts any, because here we're going to set some functionality that we need, because we're going to retrieve from local storage. We're going to set if local storage, so every time we init this application, we're going to check inside local storage if we have the item called current page. So that is only be stored if we click or we run this get next posts function. From there, this that posts again, we're going to set again this that posts to be this that API. So we're going to make a new post request, get posts, local storage that get item current page, that pipe. So we're going to pass the current page as the number of the page that we want to retrieve the information from. We map again the response that is coming from the API, because we will receive again the response data. So we're using the same functionality. You can set a function for all this to work, but let's just keep it like this. It's going to be the same for each. We're going to receive again a post. Let's wrap it. It's going to be type any, and we set this underscore post that push. So this is going to push all the posts that we're mapping in order to populate these underscore posts. And here we're going to say console.log response data for us to see what we are retrieving or what we are getting. This should be gone before, but well, doesn't matter at this point. Total count. Now we're going to set the array. So this is what we're going to get when we first start, okay? And you can see we're not setting the array here because this is only going to look for the next content. So now array response pages, because we are going to receive a set of information inside the API response that is going to contain the pages field. So right now we're going to use only an empty string there. We're going to use now the map in order to use this array in case you want to use an index. I set the I there, but we're just going to say, well, I mean the x, because the x is the value, the I is the index, so the I is going to be only the index plus 1. And this is going to help us in order to create the pagination, in order to display 1, 2, 3, and all that, depending on the number of pages that we are receiving. So if we receive 3, then we're going to run this 3 times, okay? So we're going to set 3 now with the pagination. And return underscore posts. So we return the post that we created. Okay, so this is the if. Now we're going to check the else. This is going to be something similar. So I'm just going to copy all that. As I said, you can just skip this, adding a function that matches all this in order to avoid kind of repeating yourselves. So what is going on here? Then we're going to check if get post is null. So this is the first set, or the first part that we're going to call when we start the application and we haven't clicked this or we haven't done this current page thing, that is clicking or setting the get next post, which is going to get us the current page that we click and then store that into the local storage. For this function, once we start again, it's going to receive us with that current page and the information that is inside that current page. So the only difference here is that null is going to be set, and we're checking that inside the service. So we receive the data for the first page. We can console the response and post as I'm doing there. We're going to set, because we're going to receive again the pagination, because it's the first set. We're going to receive the rest of the information of the pages we have stored using the server side, or the server, not server side, the server pagination. And we're just going to console the number of that total count, meaning the number of the pages we have, and return the post that is going to be the first set. Now I'm going to copy the what we have here, so let's delete that. And I have this class banner because that is the image that we're going to display. This is just the header for the application. I'm just going to set it here because I don't want it to repeat on the rest of the application. So we're going to have these posts, okay? I mean this class post. I'm using here this because I was using the query list in order of view child in order to count some things that we needed, but because that is a problem that we are going to face. But as I remember, this is not going to work because that is a problem that is coming from the API. Okay, it's not a problem itself, but it's something that is going to give us a problem here in the client. So now we just set this the class post. For all the posts, we're going to use the async pipe in order for that to close the observable, the subscription. So you can see we're not using onDestroy here. Now we're going to receive the post and set a post for each one, and we're going to set only the post title, a link with the post route that we want to use, and the ID as the parameter. And using the ng style, we're going to set only this div to show the cover image. And this is the pagination. So let me just view toggle wrap. So the pagination is going to get from the total count the array, okay? Then, because we need to use ng4 inside arrays, that's why we're doing that array field, and we're just going to set the index to be the number that is going to match the number of pages that we have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all that. And you can see we have the click here, the click get next posts, which is going to set or pass the event and the current index on which we are. And that is the page number, so that is what is going to be stored inside this current page. So let's save this and let's go. And we have this, okay, error. So let's see what is going on here. No error. Okay, the API is running on port 4000. HTTP localhost 4000 API 1. So let me just go back to application. This is local storage. Okay, the thing is that because I was testing with other applications, okay, with it uses the same API. I think I explained this before, because I'm using or I'm working with a server-side rendering, doing all this stuff inside the server-side rendering environment. So I'm using the same API, and that's why I had that. Okay, the current page that was stored there. Also, I think it's stored the similar or the current page from the demo that I showed you before. I think that was actually the problem. So you can see we have new title, second title, and third post. This is what we have in the API, I mean in the database. So let me take a look at this. So which one? This is the min tooth, I think. Let's see if we have 3 collections. And you can see we have new title, new content, and these ones. We only have 3 inside this. You can see total documents 3. So that is working, and I will just add some style there because we can see that. Okay, you can see this is the pagination. It's only going to respond with the, you can see here, data is responding with the 3 documents, and the current is 1 and the pages is 1. Okay, so we are on the current page 1. So let me just grab actually some of these, and let's go here inside the style. I'm using CSS. Okay, so let's add some of these, paste it. Okay, and well, if you want to copy this CSS, the body, the nav header main, the nav UL, the nav UL list A, and the first type of the list A, the first UL, I mean, and you can see this looks different. So what I'm looking for is for the, let's add the banner actually, and I'm going to add the header and all that. So if you want to copy this, let me view a word wrap. So if you want to copy the banner and the information we have, the header h1 after, and the header h1 and the header. Okay, so just save this and let's go back and we will see this. Okay, the font, we will add that in a second. So let's just get rid of all this so we can focus on the functionality later. So I think, okay, I think these are the ones that I'm looking for. So down here we add for the posts, the post and the post cover. So just save this and we should be able, you can see, we can see now the three so this is going to take us to the post and the ID. We already have the component, we already have the route, but we don't have anything there that processes the information. So we have the first part and let's add, just give me a second so I can see inside my index.html the font that I'm using. So let's go back inside the index.html and add from Google Fonts. I'm using Poppins. Okay, so that's the font I'm using and you can see now it looks kind of different. So I think I didn't add the styling for this, so let's leave it like that and we have this one and we have the first page. Okay, so in the next one, because we don't have the create post link here because we will need to handle that inside the app component. So yes, we will start creating the components. I mean, not the components, sorry, the posts. But you can see we can click, we don't have any errors, and you can see that the IDs are different here because are the actual IDs. At this point, we're not going to cache any other request or any other thing. We will see that later on more advanced tutorials. So we have more performant applications. Right now, we're going to focus only on these things. Okay, so this is it for this video and see you in the next one.